everyone, Geek Girl back with another video. If you're just tuning in, you probably saw a little montage of some of my Celestial Pearl Danios before reaching my lovely face here in the middle of the video. So I thought for my second video on this channel, and just to sort of tie in what was kind of a popular thing on my old channel, the video that had the most views was how I bred Longfin Celestial Pearl Danios. My video just talking about CPDs in general, my experiences with them, but also highlighting my unique animals. So I stumbled upon the Longfin mutation in Celestial Pearl Danios probably about a year and a half ago, and announced it through my old employer. It was something that I had bred, and my own labor and efforts had produced those animals, but it was under a different company's name. Since then, I have moved on, and I've thankfully been able to have my danios and continue working with them. So I'm feeling very fortunate about that. I went through some tough spots because between jobs, unfortunately that job did end a bit unexpectedly for me. So when I was between jobs, I was working retail on my feet all day. Took the first thing I could get just until I knew what my next plan was. And it was really, really hard to keep up with water changes. It was hard to keep up with fry care. I had people wanting these danios from me, and I had nothing in me to produce them. I had the animals. They were alive for the most part. I had a few tank crashes that almost gutted me. Thankfully, here we are. It's probably getting close to the 1-year mark since I originally started a YouTube channel, and I have my danios still, and they are thriving. I have fixed all my tank crash issues, and I just wanted to update you guys on how that project is going. I am in a position where I'm basically taking the summer off from doing swaps and things like that. That being said, this coming weekend, if you're tuning in time, there's the Live Bear Convention and Killifish Convention in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I will have a table there at that swap, and I am planning on bringing some of these danios. If you're tuning in too late to go to that, or you're just not near Michigan, you can definitely expect to see them probably in the near future listed online somewhere. My cat is saying hi. I don't know if you remember Keo, but he definitely stole the show on some of my videos. He's trying to do it again. So also, quick plug, if you are new to fish keeping, or you're just kind of like more casual hobbyist who has like a couple nano tanks, or tuning in because you like Celestial Pearl Danios, and maybe YouTube is just saying, hey, look at this. Maybe the algorithm has brought you here. Whatever the case may be, if you are not familiar with national conventions, I highly recommend going, because you're going to have access to the weirdest, rarest fish and the most knowledgeable hobbyists on the subjects. And they tend to be very specific to certain groups of fish. So the live bearer convention is going to be all live bearing fish. And then also this year, I guess they're doubling up with the killifish convention, which is all killifish. So I'll probably have to do separate videos on some of those animals and such, but there's also a cichlid convention, the ACA. There's usually an all catfish convention. Sometimes there's one that's kind of like a combo catfish, maybe other fish too, catfish cataclysm in Wisconsin. So anytime you have access to going to one of these shows, the opportunity, the means, the PTO, whatever it may be, I highly recommend going, because you're just going to find fish there that you won't find anywhere else. And especially when it comes to like live bears, you're not going to find wild live bears at your mom and pop shop. Well, any pet store really, but obviously PetSmart, Petco, big ones will never have knife edge live bears like Alfaro cultratus. They won't have Limia species. They're not going to have weird like Neoheterandria. They may have like some Heterandria formosa like by accident, the feeders, but that's another story. The point is, like Gadiads is a whole group of live bears you're not going to see at any fish store, pretty much anywhere, unless they're owned by a hobbyist who also breeds them, because you're not going to find them on the wholesale list 9 times out of 10. So the other thing is that they're just not as ornate as like your guppies, your platies, your swordtails that are domestic strains that are bred kind of like koi and goldfish, where they're just very, very colorful. But if you look at their wild form is more of a grayish fish with maybe hints of like gold and flecks of this like bluish tint, greenish tint, maybe some black spots on them. If you're a real fish geek like me, or a real nerd about these things, you're going to appreciate those wild types just as much as the ornate ones and the domestic varieties. And a lot of these hobbyists will actually maintain the collection location information along with those animals so that they can preserve them. There's a lot of work being done with hobbyists with animals that are otherwise close to extinct in the wild. Sorry about that. I had to pause. If you do not have a Bengal or any high energy breed of cat or dog, you probably aren't aware of a cat being upset with you for talking to a camera and not playing with them. So I've got my bird toy and I'm going to appease him because he's a little cranky. So anyway, Longfin Danio update. Where we're at right now, what I know about the gene, at least as far as I can tell, it seems that it appears in, especially with the males with the more extended fins, it seems to appear on these fish later in life. So when they are fry, when they are young, the longfin ones that I have don't seem to really have long flowy fins, but they'll have maybe a hint of like, okay, it's longer than average. And as they get older and mature, those fins get longer, is what I'm noticing. So there's also different degrees of longfin. Even amongst my longfin animals, I haven't perfected the mutation, the line. There are plenty of animals that have, okay, that's like longer-ish fins, but they're not like crazy long. And then I have like one male in particular who just blew the other ones out of the water. But I'm confident with breeding this line, introducing, I've been introducing a little bit of like an import line of danios to kind of freshen up the blood a little bit. I'm also trying to do different things like breed for coloration in the female's fins too, because if we can get Longfin Celestial Pearl Danio where both the male and the female have pretty like reddish fins, and trust me, it can happen. I have females that'll have clearish anal fins and like dorsals and all that, but then there are some that have coloration, but they're still female and they still produce eggs. So that's been something I'm trying to select for. It's been a little like pet project of mine. So right now I am hunkering down for the summer. After this swap coming up this weekend, it's like the 19th, 20th, and so that's like a Thursday through Sunday convention. But your best days to go will be like the 20th, 21st. So also, I'm doing a talk at the Neo Club at Friday. So if you're in Ohio, it's a Northeastern Ohio club, I'm going to do a talk where I kind of detail how I raise small egg scattering fish and egg laying fish in general, just as my sort of way of inspiring people to breed something different. Because a lot of times people, I think, are discouraged from breeding egg scatters and smaller egg laying fish because they think they're too small and like, oh boy, what do I feed them? So that's a good talk. I'm not going to give it away what I tell in that talk entirely, but if you're in Ohio and want to see it, if you want to book the talk, I'm still trying to figure out like the best mode to do that. If you can like message my Fish Geek Girl page on either Instagram, there's a public page, and then there's also a page on Facebook that's Fish Geek Girl. That's my page, and if you see my links to my videos or updates on that, then you know it's me. If you can find that channel and message me there. I just don't want to give out my personal email and all that just to anybody on the internet. But I do talks, and I like giving them. And I also recently gave an amphibian one, which is about some of the dwarf frogs and things I've been breeding, and axolotls as well. So yeah, so just a little plug there, and I'm going to turn around and we're going to go see what I'm doing in the fish room. Okay guys, you can see my fish room is slowly getting bigger. I still have to, I'm in the middle of water changes tonight, so a lot of tanks need to top off still. But I thought I'd kind of show you where things are at right now. I have a lot of baker's racks with plywood, anywhere from 2 to 5 or 10-gallon tanks. So yeah, it's not real pretty right now, but you know, you can see in a lot of these tanks there's decent amount of things going on. Everything from these kind of wild race fish. Got some really cool, I know some of the live bear convention. These are some fancy live bears. These are my koi koi guppies. You can see here one of my baby dwarf frogs. And not quite a baby anymore. It's a little blonde one. That's one of the ones I raised. And he's got a couple friends. And they're chowing on some bloodworms. So yeah, I'm a generalist. I like all things, all fish, pretty much. But I tend to like things that go in 5-gallon or 10-gallon tanks. One thing I wanted to show here, here's some of my danios, the little babies. They're mixed in with some Xenophallus umbratilis, which are a live bear, a wild type live bear called the golden teddy. If you go to the live bear convention, you'll probably be able to find them. Actually, one of my favorite wild live bears. I think they're highly underrated and have the potential to be really good in a lot of community tanks, whereas things like Gadiids, etc., maybe not your best option. But they're very peaceful, so I've got them mixed in the fry. I will tend to sometimes mix species like rice fish and Celestial Pearl babies seem to go fine together because they're similarly sized. I did not put those Xenophallus umbratilis in here until these danios were already a decent size, maybe like a month along. These guys are just about selling size. So what I want to show up here is one of my Longfin groups. So this is, you can see a larger male there. He's a gorgeous Longfin male, and I paired him with a couple of these females. Now they weren't really producing a ton of eggs, so I put in a younger boy just in case. This is a good example of kind of like a holdback that from the Longfin line, but you can see the smaller male here. He's got longer than average fins, but he's not quite grown them out all the way yet. But look, you know, at a glance, yeah, those are longer than average. I would say the larger male is probably doing his mojo now, though I've been finding a few eggs here. Mostly was testing because I put these 2 females that had what I would call some coloration on the anal fin. That wasn't just clear. I wanted to select for that. That one they're seeing right now is okay. There is one other female in here. I think she's towards the back. See if I can get her to come out, because she's a really pretty one. Yeah, yep, yep, there she is. That one in the middle. So she's got real nice dark coloration on her, like her dorsal. See that? Her anal. But that's a female. She's got the little black dot by her vent. So I'm trying to select for that. And that's what I've got going on here. All sorts of race fish. Got some panda guppies. It's a hodgepodge. Here's some more of the Longfin babies. These ones are even a little bit bigger and closer to sellable size than the ones that I showed you down below. This is a little deceiving because you think that there's only like 3 or 4 of them in here. Oh no, those are just the bold ones. There's definitely a decent amount in here. So I am someone who I can raise out. So this is a prime example. Like there's probably 20 or more Celestial Pearl babies in here. And as you can tell, these are getting close to sellable size. So this is a 2.5-gallon tank. You know, not bad. I usually do at least 25-50% water changes once a week, and they're just such a small fish. They just don't seem to produce quite as much ammonia or waste as you know, your cichlid fry might, or your catfish fry might. So I get away with it. I got snails and plants and things that help kind of keep things in balance. And then here is a bunch of little guys. And these guys are maybe 2 to 3 weeks along. Just starting to get some little thin buds. but not terribly far past the free swimming stage. I don't mind, so my tanks, there's a lot of this like hair algae growing. Yes, it looks ugly. No, it's not harmful. Actually, it's good. If anything, it grows microorganisms in it that these guys can chow on. Algae in it of itself consumes like nutrients, so you get some removal of you know, nitrates and things that keep things in balance. So, cat is still very angry with me. I've actually been going through, what I do is I'll put the eggs in here, so I went through and collected some eggs from this group, and these are my original Longfin group with a few holdbacks mixed in. I threw a few males in here that, now that I'm looking at them, I don't think they're that great as far as like fin length, so I might pull a few of them because they're kind of average, but there is my really long fin male in here, and a lot of my original Longfin females. But none of these are imported. These are all kind of my line, so I've seen it pop up multiple times in my line. So, you know, in theory, you mix different ones together, you get longfin fish. Seems like they just all seem to be carriers. So, I am going to see if I can show you. Oh, Keo, it's okay. My cat likes to play tag. Come up behind me when I'm hunched over like this. So, there are some eggs in here. Probably a little hard. Yep, you can kind of see them in the detritus. Probably a little hard to see with this angle, but pulled some from here. Not like a ton from this group. I do think that, you know, the male's kind of aging, so until those younger males come into their own and are really active, there might be some less returns on those. These are kind of my like regular / import mixed line, and even when I say import, so my friend imported some danios, and I mixed them in here, and then I also have ones that are from my line, so it's a little bit of a hodgepodge, but none of these are like showy longfin fish. And you can see over here, got more fry. Got more Danio fry. Not quite as many in here as I'd hope, but there's a few. This one didn't seem to have like a ton. Of course, I say that, but maybe maybe when I go to actually move plants around, I'll find, oh, there's actually a couple dozen in here or something, but usually when they're at this stage, they're not hiding quite as much. You know, a free swimming stage, and then like within the first month or so, they're still kind of active and out and about. But once they get a little more size to them, they do tend to crowd under the sponge filter and hide when they're not feeding. So a lot of the adult danios, you know, they can be a little timid. Hi, Keo. Want to say hi to our YouTube followers? Yeah. Typical cat. Well, I say that, but he's a very noisy cat. So, I've got some more danios up here. There's a really geriatric female in here that is just hanging on. I just leave her be. I mean, she's kind of doing little twirlies and stuff, but she's quite old. But I haven't had the heart to color yet. Anyway, this is another group. I call this my group B. And, kind of like I said, a lot of times the adults will crowd under sponge filters and stuff. They prefer some cover, you know. These are pretty shy fish for the most part. When you give them lots of cover, they'll be more bold and come out. So this one has like a decent mix of like anything from longfin to like kinda longfin. This is kind of like a little backup group. And yeah. It's hard to get them in the shot here. They do move around quite a bit. Also wanted to capture kind of my fish embryo sorting area. I know in my last video I kind of showed like what I was doing with diamond tetras and stuff. Well, I sort a lot of things here. and the scarlet baddest and things. These are some killifish that are just they're eyed up, and one of them just wants to come out. The other one's getting close. I can show you a trick on how to hatch out killies and things like that eventually. But yeah, this is kind of my area. Keo still wants to play. Needy boy. And I've got some more young baby baddest in here, and you probably won't even be able to see. See a little thing flitting around the top there? That's a baby scarlet baddest. Gotta see one. Oh, there they are. And then I had some other Danio up here, fry. You swirl it around, you'll see them moving. Yep, we got some wigglers, we got some eggs. You can see in here. There they are. Focus, focus, focus. There they are. So this is my egg sorting station. I thought it would be nice to have like a light over things so I didn't blind myself with the flashlight all the time. But I still use the flashlight. And yeah, so I think that's good for now. That's my little show and tell. So that wraps up this video for today. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a like, put a comment if there's something that you would like to see me talk about. I should be posting a new video every week. Look around Monday or Tuesday night. Tuesday by the latest, I'll be sure to post new content. And I'm really excited to share with you guys all these different new fish I'm working with and just some of my opinions and experiences with the hobby. And until next time, share with your fishy friends, and I'll see you later.